Outside the suburbs of Tungue City, on White Tiger Mountain, where no one usually dares to go, a lone man and woman were currently ascending. Fool! I really need to pee. Keep watch for me. I need to relieve myself. When they reached halfway up the mountain, Lin Yuming said to the man beside her, her face flushed. The man she called Fool was the younger brother she had adopted many years ago, Peng Zhan. Peng Zhan was tall and handsome, but his expression was dazed. He was a fool with an abnormal mind. Sister Yuming, keep a watch. There's no one else in this desolate mountain. Peng Zhan said foolishly. Even if there's no one else, you still have to keep watch for me, just in case, understand? Lin Yuming said, Oh, I understand. You're afraid that a demon might come and spy on you. So you want me to keep watch? The dull-witted Peng Zhan suddenly said, as if he had a revelation. Upon hearing the word demon, Lin Yuming shivered and felt a chill run down her spine. Because she and Peng Zhan were now located right above the demon-locking cave. On the north side of White Tiger Mountain, under the cliff, there was a sinkhole that had formed since ancient times. According to the elders of Tungue City, a female demon with boundless power and terrifying strength was sealed beneath the sinkhole. Therefore, this sinkhole was also called the Demon-Locking Cave. Due to the terrifying legend of the female demon, no one usually dared to go up White Tiger Mountain. At this moment, a cold mountain wind blew, the grass and trees swayed, and a mist filled the air. Perhaps it was just her imagination, but it seemed as if demons and monsters could appear in the mountain forest at any moment. Shut up. Well, you know, just keep watch when I tell you to. Why do you have so much nonsense? If you dare to talk nonsense again, do you believe I'll rip your mouth off? Lin Yuming scolded angrily. The reason she brought Peng Zhan to White Tiger Mountain was to find a kind of herb that could cure his foolishness. Over the years, she had taken Peng Zhan to many doctors, but none had been able to cure his illness. Yesterday, a quack doctor who set up a stall on the old street told her that there was a kind of enlightenment herb on White Tiger Mountain. As long as she picked the enlightenment herb and boiled it for Peng Zhan to eat, it would surely cure his illness. This quack doctor's name was Zhu Sangwang. He was also from the old city, a bachelor, and he was usually able to cure some of the elderly's difficult and miscellaneous diseases. He was known as Divine Dr. Zhu. Lin Yuming, with a desperate attitude, chose to believe Zhu Sangwang's words and decided to come to White Tiger Mountain to find the herb. She didn't dare to come alone, so she brought Peng Zhan along to embolden her. Sister Yuming, don't be so fierce. I'll keep watch for you. I promise I won't let anyone peek at you. Seeing Lin Yuming angry, Peng Zhan had to obey and did as she asked. You're not allowed to peek either. Lin Yuming added. I won't peek, then can I look openly? Peng Zhan asked weakly. No. If you dare to look, I'll gouge out your eyes and stomp on them. Lin Yuming warned fiercely. There's nothing to see. I wouldn't look even if you let me, Peng Zhan muttered. He was really a little afraid of this sister who was always threatening to rip out mouths and gouge out eyes. So he began to seriously keep watch for Lin Yuming. He's really hopelessly stupid. It seems there's really no cure for him. Lin Yuming really couldn't hold it any longer, so she hurriedly ran behind a big tree. Sister Yuming, there's a question I've always wondered about. Why can men stand to pee, but women have to squat? Peng Zhan's thirst for knowledge came up again. With your intelligence, I can't explain it to you, Lin Yuming said irritably. And at this moment, Peng Zhan suddenly noticed a pair of peeping eyes hiding in the grass not far away. Who? Who's hiding in the grass and peeping? Get out here! Peng Zhan immediately shouted angrily. Lin Yuming, who was about to unbutton her pants and relieve herself on the spot, was startled. Lin Yuming followed Peng Zhan's gaze and saw the grass not far away moving. Are you a human or a ghost? Lin Yuming asked tremblingly. The man hiding in the bushes saw that he could no longer conceal himself and reluctantly emerged. Lin Yuming took a closer look and discovered that the man had dark skin, a goatee, and was dressed shabbily. It was none other than Zhu Sangwang, the quack doctor who set up a stall on the old street. Miracle Dr. Zhu. What are you doing here? Lin Yuming asked in surprise. I was worried you wouldn't be able to find the enlightenment herb, so I followed you to help you search. Zhu Sangwang stammered, cursing Peng Zhan, the fool, in his heart. If it hadn't been for that fool Peng Zhan discovering him, he could have enjoyed Lin Yuming's beauty by now. In reality, there was no enlightenment herb on White Tiger Mountain. Zhu Sangwang had made it up to lure Lin Yuming to the mountain. Lin Yuming was graceful and charming, and Zhu Sangwang had long coveted her. However, he had no opportunity to make a move in the city, so he tricked her into coming to the remote White Tiger Mountain, hoping to take advantage of her. Miracle Dr. Zhu, if you wanted to help me find the enlightenment herb, you could have come up the mountain openly with me. There was no need to sneak around, Lin Yuming said. Sister Yuming, To tell you the truth, I've liked you for a long time. I've been single all my life and haven't experienced a woman's touch. Just let me have a taste. Afterwards, I won't mistreat you. If you're willing to marry me, I'll make sure you live a good life. Zhu Sangwang didn't waste any more words and got straight to the point. Lin Yumeng was instantly terrified. She hadn't expected that even Zhu Sangwang, the so-called miracle doctor and old bachelor, harbored such ill intentions, wanting to take advantage of a young woman. You're over 40 years old, and I'm only 22, half your age. How can you have such improper thoughts about me? If you had a daughter, she would probably be around my age. Lin Yumeng tried to reason with Zhu Sangwang to make him let her go. Don't talk to me about that. It's useless. I may be a bit old, but older men know how to cherish a woman better. Just give in to me. Zhu Sangwang began to show his true colors and walked towards Lin Yumeng. Don't come any closer. If you dare to do anything, you'll end up in prison for the rest of your life. Lin Yumeng said tremblingly, backing away. The intelligent woman finally realized she had been tricked. There was no enlightenment herb on White Tiger Mountain. Zhu Sangwang had deliberately deceived her into coming here. As long as I can have a moment with you, even if I get shot, it'll be worth it. Zhu Sangwang's veins were bulging, and his face was contorted. Don't bully my sister. At this moment, Peng Zhan suddenly stood in front of Lin Yumeng and shouted loudly. In this critical moment, seeing her foolish younger brother step forward, Lin Yumeng felt as if she had seen a savior. Damn fool. Get out of the way. Don't cause trouble here. Go play somewhere else, or I'll beat you to death. Zhu Sangwang roared. I won't. Even if you beat me to death, I won't let you bully my sister. Although Peng Zhan was foolish, he knew how well Lin Yumeng treated him. Therefore, he protected her at all costs and would not allow anyone to bully her. Since you want to die, I'll grant your wish. Zhu Sangwang was impatient and kicked Peng Zhan in the stomach. Peng Zhan also struck out simultaneously, punching Zhu Sangwang in the face. Peng Zhan was kicked in the stomach and let out a scream, stumbling backward until he reached the edge of the cliff. Yeah, Zhu Sangwang was hit in the face by Peng Zhan's fist and also let out a pig-like squeal, staggering back several steps. Although Peng Zhan was a fool, fools have their own strengths, and his was his supernatural strength. His punch had made Zhu Sangwang see stars and almost faint. Fool! Lin Yumeng saw that Peng Zhan was just a step away from falling off the cliff and was frightened. Below the cliff was the demon locking cave. If he fell, the consequences would be unimaginable. Sister Yumeng, run! Don't worry about me. I can handle him, Peng Zhan shouted. Lin Yumeng was also afraid of being violated by Zhu Sangwang. She couldn't care about anything else and immediately turned to run up the mountain. If she were to be violated by such a dirty and ugly old bachelor, she would surely be disgusted to the point of wanting to die. Just then, Zhu Sangwang looked behind Peng Zhan and seemed to see something terrifying. His pupils suddenly dilated, and his eyes filled with endless fear. Demon, there's a demon behind you. Zhu Sangwang was scared out of his wits and said in terror. Hearing Zhu Sangwang's words, Peng Zhan's scalp tingled, and he quickly turned to look behind him. However, when Peng Zhan turned around, he found that there was nothing behind him. He saw nothing. At this moment, Peng Zhan suddenly heard the sound of wind coming from in front of him, and he was so frightened that he quickly turned his head back. He saw a figure had already rushed to the front. The sneak attacker was Zhu Sangwang. Die, you fool! How dare you ruin my plans? Go to hell! Zhu Sangwang roared angrily, and then pushed Peng Zhan hard with both hands. Peng Zhan was caught off guard and was pushed off the cliff by Zhu Sangwang. It has to be said that Zhu Sangwang's acting skills were top-notch. He had just been punched by Peng Zhan and knew that this fool was not easy to deal with. So he pretended to see something terrifying, lied to Peng Zhan that there was a demon behind him, and then took the opportunity to sneak attack him. With such superb acting skills, let alone Peng Zhan, a fool, even a normal person would be fooled in this place called the Demon Locking Cave. Lin Yumeng, who hadn't run far, heard Peng Zhan scream, turned around, and saw him falling into the Demon Locking Cave. She was once again frightened and lost her color. Fool! Lin Yumeng's heart was instantly shattered, tears flying, and she ran back desperately. Over the years, she and Peng Zhan have depended on each other and have developed a deep bond of sister and brother. Now, seeing Peng Zhan fall into the Demon Locking Cave because he was saving her, her heart was broken. When Zhu Sangwang saw Lin Yumeng running back, his eyes immediately lit up, and he rushed up to grab her, and then dragged her into the bushes. Let go of me, help, help! Lin Yumeng struggled desperately while screaming for help. However, in this desolate and uninhabited wilderness, no one would hear her. Zhu Sangwang was already insane at this time, and he was about to get what he wanted, so of course he wouldn't easily let Lin Yiming go. He felt that he had already killed Peng Zhan, the fool, and had already committed murder, so he might as well go all the way. And after he was done, he would kill Lin Yiming too to silence her. Lin Yiming's heart was filled with grief, despair, and fear at this moment. Her brother's life and death were uncertain, and she had fallen into the clutches of Zhu Sangguang, with no escape. Thinking that her precious first time was about to be taken by Zhu Sangguang, this old bachelor, she felt like dying. The further Peng Zhan fell, the faster his falling speed became. When he was about to fall to the bottom of the cave, suddenly a powerful airflow surged up from below, slowing down his descent. Bang! When Peng Zhan fell to the bottom of the cave, his head hit a stone, but he was not seriously injured. He just fainted for a moment, and then woke up. "Hero, please come over and help me." Suddenly, a very pleasant woman's voice came from inside the cave. Peng Zhan followed the sound and looked up, and he was immediately scared as if he had seen a ghost, his hair standing on end, because he saw a stunning beauty in white gauze in the cave. The stunning beauty's hands and feet were locked by 4 black iron chains, and the other ends of the 4 iron chains were deeply embedded in the stone walls on both sides. What was even more terrifying was that the black iron chains were shining, as if there was an electric current. "Are you a human or a demon?" Peng Zhan asked tremblingly. "Of course I am a human," the stunning beauty said. Just now, when Peng Zhan fell from above, it was she who used her palms to create an airflow to cushion Peng Zhan's fall. Otherwise, Peng Zhan would have been dead by now. "How can a human be so beautiful? Are you the legendary female demon?" As Peng Zhan said this, cold sweat broke out, because he had already guessed that this stunning beauty was the legendary female demon. How could a mortal be so beautiful? Only a demon could be so excessively beautiful. He didn't expect the legend to be true. There really was a demon under this demon-locking cave. "Fairy is just the world's prejudice against me. My true identity is actually the palace master of the High Heaven Palace," the stunning woman said. "The palace master of the High Heaven Palace? How come I've never heard of it?" Peng Zhan asked. "It's normal that you haven't heard of the affairs of hidden sects. You don't need to be afraid. I won't harm you. If you don't help me, you won't be able to get out of this cave either," the palace master of the High Heaven Palace said. "How do you want me to help you?" Seeing that the palace master of the High Heaven Palace was delicate and pitiful, and did not seem like a harmful fairy, Peng Zhan calmed down a lot and was no longer so afraid. "Pull out that Dragon Soul Divine Sword and use it to cut the chains," the palace master of the High Heaven Palace said, her gaze turning to the stone wall. Peng Zhan followed the palace master's gaze and saw a black hilt on the stone wall. The blade was completely submerged in the stone wall, and beneath the sword lay dozens of skeletons. Around the skeletons were many broken swords and other strange and exotic weapons. It was obvious that a great battle had taken place here. As for how the Dragon Soul Divine Sword was inserted into the stone wall, that was unknown. Seeing so many skeletons, Peng Zhan was too scared to go forward. "Those are just the skeletons of people who died many years ago. Nothing to be afraid of. Hurry up and go. As long as you help me, I will definitely repay you," the palace master of the High Heaven Palace said. "How do you plan to repay me?" Peng Zhan asked. "I see that you have an extraordinary physique and exceptional talent, a 1-in-a-million cultivation genius. I plan to impart all my unique skills to you as a way to repay your kindness in saving me," the palace master of the High Heaven Palace said solemnly. "Everyone says I'm a fool, but you say I have exceptional talent. Don't lie to me," Peng Zhan said. "I am clearly a fool, and you are talking about exceptional talent. Isn't this obviously deceiving people?" Actually, when Peng Zhan fell and hit his head earlier, he had already returned to normal and was no longer a fool. However, he had just returned to normal when he encountered the legendary female fairy and was scared out of his wits, with no time to think. He didn't even realize that he had returned to normal. He didn't even have time to think about his sister, who was being bullied by Zhu Sangguang above. "Why would I lie to you? Although I am a woman, my word is my bond. What I say, I will do." At this point, the palace master of the High Heaven Palace suddenly looked at Peng Zhan with affection and said flirtatiously, "If you want me to repay you with my body after you save me, it's not impossible." I wouldn't dare. I didn't mean that. Please don't joke with me like that," Peng Zhan said, his face red. He wouldn't dare to do that with a female fairy, even if he had 100 times the courage. However, when Peng Zhan's eyes met the soul-stirring eyes of the palace master of the High Heaven Palace, he was immediately enchanted and, as if possessed, obediently walked towards the sword. Then, he grasped the hilt with both hands and pulled with all his might, but the sword did not budge. "I can't pull it out. I can't help you," Peng Zhan said, panting. "Come here. I will first transfer my power to you, and then you will be able to pull out the sword, the palace master of the High Heaven Palace said. Peng Zhan, again bewitched, obediently walked towards the palace master of the High Heaven Palace. Place your palms against mine, the palace master of the High Heaven Palace said again. Peng Zhan obediently extended his palms. When Peng Zhan's palms met the palace master's, it was as if two currents were connected. The palace master's power flowed continuously into Peng Zhan's body. After 10 minutes, the palace master of the High Heaven Palace was drenched in sweat, and her body had become weak. But Peng Zhan's body was filled with a magical power, and he had become incredibly strong. All right, now go and pull out the sword, the palace master of the High Heaven Palace said. Okay, full of strength. Peng Zhan was eager to try and immediately walked towards the sword. Arriving before the sword, Peng Zhan grasped the hilt with one hand and pulled with force. With a bang, the sword embedded in the stone wall was pulled out by Peng Zhan. In an instant, the dazzling light of the sword illuminated the demon-sealing cave. It was a huge sword, its blade gleaming, sword energy surging, and a chilling aura emanating from it. The snow-white blade trembled constantly, emitting a strange sound, like the roar of a tiger and the cry of a dragon. Peng Zhan examined the giant sword and saw 4 words engraved on the blade: Dragon Soul Divine Sword. The divine sword, seeing the light of day again, was like a long-imprisoned divine beast released from its cage, emitting a bloodthirsty, cold light. The palace master of Lingxiao was overjoyed to see Peng Zhan finally draw the Dragon Soul Sword and impatiently said, "Come quickly. Use the Dragon Soul Sword to help me cut these chains." All right. Peng Zhan, carrying the Dragon Soul Sword, walked in front of the palace master of Lingxiao and slashed at the chains. Clang! The Dragon Soul Sword struck the iron chain binding the palace master's right hand, sending sparks flying. The Dragon Soul Sword, capable of cutting through iron like mud, severed the chain with ease. However, when the Dragon Soul Sword made contact with the iron chain, a powerful current-like energy surged into Peng Zhan's body, knocking him unconscious. Now freed, the palace master of Lingxiao bent down to pick up the Dragon Soul Sword and then swung it to cut the remaining chains on her body. Clang, clang, clang. The chains wrapped around her body snapped one after another. Ha ha! This palace master is finally free today. The palace master of Lingxiao threw her head back and laughed wildly. After laughing, the palace master of Lingxiao walked directly to one of the skeletons and gave it a vicious kick. Stinking Taoist priest, during that battle, I was locked up by you, and you were poisoned to death by me. Now, I can see the light of day again, while you have long since turned into a skeleton. The one who laughs last is still me. You so-called righteous sects, under the banner of slaying demons and devils, besieged the Lingxiao Palace, all for the sake of seizing my Lingxiao Palace's Dragon Soul Sword and Dragon Blood Ring. You are utterly shameless. After saying this, the palace master of Lingxiao returned to Peng Zhan's side. Gazing at the unconscious Peng Zhan, she said, "Young man, I did not deceive you. You truly have an extraordinary physique, exceptional talent, a 1 in a million cultivation prodigy. Considering that you helped me escape, I will now fulfill my promise and impart all my lifelong martial arts to you." After saying this, the palace master of Lingxiao sat down cross-legged, took the unconscious Peng Zhan's hands in hers, and began to transfer her power. In a daze, Peng Zhan felt like he was having a strange dream. In the dream, various martial arts techniques, sword skills, archery, medicine, poison, and even the art of disguise flooded into his mind continuously. After an unknown amount of time, the palace master of Lingxiao released Peng Zhan's hands and said weakly, "All right, I have imparted all the secret arts of the Lingxiao Palace to you. You have received a portion of my power, and now your strength is at the early stage of the Yellow Realm." Hesitating for a moment, the palace master of Lingxiao then took off the blood-red ring on her right middle finger and said, "You have a connection with my Lingxiao Palace, so I might as well give you the Dragon Blood Ring as well." The Dragon Blood Ring is a storage ring. Inside, all the secret arts of the Lingxiao Palace are stored, including the Lingxiao Palace's cultivation manual, the Phoenix Control Formula. You can use it for cultivation and enhance your strength. Although with your current early-stage Yellow Realm strength, you can crush many so-called experts in the mundane world, you are still no match for the experts of the cultivation world. You need to cultivate diligently to become a true powerhouse. After saying this, the palace master of Lingxiao pressed Peng Zhan's right middle finger against the blade of the Dragon Soul Sword, making a small cut, and blood immediately seeped out. Then, The palace master of Lingxiao placed the dragon blood ring on Peng Zhan's right middle finger. The blood from Peng Zhan's right middle finger stained the dragon blood ring, and the ring instantly emitted an eerie red glow. When Peng Zhan's blood was completely absorbed into the dragon blood ring, the ring returned to its normal color. All right, the dragon blood ring has recognized a new master. Now you are the master of the dragon blood ring. In the future, if you have anything you want to store, you can put it inside the dragon blood ring, and you can also take it out at will, which is very convenient. I'll leave this dragon soul sword for you to use as well. After you wake up, you can use your mind to store the dragon soul sword inside the dragon blood ring for easy carrying. Now, you have not only inherited all the secret arts of the Lingxiao Palace, but also possess the two treasures of the Lingxiao Palace, the dragon soul sword and the dragon blood ring. You are now the sole successor of the Lingxiao Palace. I hope you can carry forward the legacy of the Lingxiao Palace in the future. Also, remember, women do not hinder the speed of your sword. If you fight for the woman you love, women will actually increase the speed of your sword. Although the Lingxiao Palace is not a righteous sect, we never do anything that harms the innocent. All right, I have said everything I needed to say. I must go now. Take care of yourself. After saying this, the palace master of Lingxiao flicked her sleeves, floated up, and flew out of the demon ceiling cave. As soon as the palace master of Lingxiao left, Peng Zhan woke up. Peng Zhan looked around blankly. The skeletons were still there. He also found that there were many rare flowers and herbs growing around the demon-locking cave that could be used for medicinal purposes, including many ginseng and fleece flower roots that were over 100 years old. However, the master of the Lingxiao Palace, who had taught him martial arts, was nowhere to be seen. Everything that had just happened felt like a dream, yet so real, because he saw that he really had a blood-red ring on his right finger. He picked up the Dragon Soul Divine Sword, stood up, and felt that the magical power in his body had become stronger. Remembering what the master of Lingxiao Palace had said, he tried to store the Dragon Soul Divine Sword into the Dragon Blood Ring with his mind. With a thought, the huge Dragon Soul Divine Sword suddenly disappeared. It's incredible, this small Dragon Blood Ring can actually store things. It's really amazing, Peng Zhan said to himself excitedly. At the same time, he also found that his mind was clear now. He was no longer a fool, and he remembered many past events. It's great, this time being pushed down the demon-locking cave by Zhu Cangguang not only made me return to normal, but also allowed me to obtain the inheritance of the Lingxiao Palace Master. It's really a blessing in disguise. There are so many ginseng and fleece flower roots, I can definitely sell them for a lot of money. Even if no one buys them, I can use them to make soup for my sister, to replenish her energy and blood, and strengthen her body. Thinking of this, Peng Zhan suddenly shouted, "Oh no! Sister Yumeng is still in danger. She might be suffering at the hands of Zhu Cangguang." Peng Zhan was immediately anxious, and he had no mood to pick ginseng and fleece flower roots. A long time had passed since he fell into the demon-locking cave, and Lin Yumeng might have already been harmed by Zhu Cangguang. Peng Zhan looked up at the entrance of the cave and saw that it was dozens of meters above the ground. For a moment, he didn't know how to get up, and he was as anxious as an ant on a hot pan. But he soon remembered that he had already obtained the martial arts of the Lingxiao Palace, so he tried to use his lightness skill to jump up. With one try, he found that he could be as light as a swallow and jump very high. So, he kept pushing off the protruding stones around the cave wall with his feet and jumped all the way up. Soon, he jumped out of the demon-locking cave and came to the mountain forest where the incident happened. Just then, Zhu Cangguang, looking flustered, emerged from the bushes, looking like he had done something bad and was feeling guilty. At this moment, Zhu Cangguang's footsteps were unsteady, and his body seemed to be hollowed out, very weak. "Zhu Cangguang, you beast! Where's my sister? What have you done to my sister?" Peng Zhan's eyes were blazing with anger as he roared and questioned him. Zhu Cangguang trembled all over when he heard Peng Zhan's roar. When he looked up and saw Peng Zhan, who was full of anger and murderous intent, he was scared out of his wits. Zhu Cangguang had personally pushed Peng Zhan down the demon-locking cave, and he thought Peng Zhan was dead for sure. Now, seeing Peng Zhan appear with murderous intent, he thought Peng Zhan had become a vengeful ghost and had come to settle the score with him. "Ah, ghost, don't kill me!" Zhu Cangguang broke down on the spot, screaming and running down the mountain like a madman. Although he was extremely weak, he was now frightened and ran faster than a rabbit. Seeing Zhu Cangguang running away, Peng Zhan was not in a hurry to chase him. The most urgent thing was to find Lin Yumeng first, and he could settle the score with Zhu Cangguang later. "Sister Yumeng," Peng Zhan shouted as he rushed into the bushes where Zhu Cangguang had just been. He searched anxiously in the bushes, but did not find Lin Yumeng. Then, Peng Zhan found some colorful bloodstains in a patch of grass, so dazzling and eye-catching. He felt like he had been struck by 5 thunderbolts, and his head buzzed. Could it be that he was one step late in saving the beauty, and Sister Yumeng had already been defiled by Zhu Sangwang? Sister Yumeng, where are you? Peng Zhan shouted as he searched around like a madman. However, no matter how he shouted, he still did not hear Lin Yumeng's response, nor did he find her. Peng Zhan thought that Lin Yumeng had already been murdered and disposed of in the wilderness by Zhu Sangguang. His heart was filled with grief, and tears couldn't help but flow. He had just received the inheritance of the palace master of Lingxiao, and he was eager to repay Lin Yumeng and let her live a good life. But she had already been killed. How could he not be heartbroken? He wanted to care for his sister, but she was no longer there. The past flashed through Peng Zhan's mind like a movie. 8 years ago, when he was only 12 years old, he was already a homeless fool, wandering everywhere. He only knew that his name was Peng Zhan and couldn't remember anything else. One day, he wandered into an old district in Tingui City called Huaxi District. It was a cold winter evening with a drizzling rain. He was dirty, cold, and hungry, begging for food like a beggar in Huaxi District. Almost every household disliked him for being dirty. Not only did they not give him a bite to eat, but they also chased him away fiercely, fearing that he would starve to death at their doorstep and bring bad luck. Finally, he passed by Lin Yuming's house on Wudong Street, already on the verge of death from hunger. Lin Yuming took pity on him and invited him into her home for a meal. It was rare for him to meet such a kind person as Lin Yuming. After eating that meal, he lingered and didn't want to leave. Although he was a fool, he knew that if he left Lin Yuming's house, it would be difficult to meet such a kind-hearted person again, and he might not have a next meal. So he wanted to stay at her house and freeload. Lin Yuming also knew that if she drove Peng Zhan away, he might starve or freeze to death at any time. She couldn't bear it, so she took him in. She felt that driving Peng Zhan away would be pushing him to a dead end, which was equivalent to watching him die without helping, putting him to death. Being kind, she really couldn't be so heartless. That summer, Lin Yuming's parents went missing on their way home from work. They searched for a long time, but couldn't find them. It was very likely that they were no longer alive. At that time, Lin Yumeng was only 14 years old. She had 2 younger sisters at home. The second sister, Lin Yutong, was 12 years old, and the third sister, Lin Yuqin, was 10 years old. With her parents missing, 14-year-old Lin Yumeng took charge of the family early and shouldered the responsibility of raising her 2 younger sisters. Later, with the addition of Peng Zhan, a fool who only ate and didn't work, Lin Yuming's burden became even heavier. However, Lin Yumeng never regarded him as a burden and treated him like her own younger brother. Although poor, Lin Yumeng didn't want to neglect her and her sister's studies. Using a small amount of savings left by her parents, she rented a stall in a relatively busy area and opened a barbecue shop. The 3 sisters went to school during the day and sold barbecue at night to earn some money. In this way, at a young age, she relied on the money earned from selling barbecue, lived frugally, and supported herself and her 2 sisters through school. When it was time for the college entrance examination, Lin Yuming chose to apply to a local university to be closer to home so that she could take care of Peng Zhan and her 2 sisters. After her parents disappeared, as the eldest sister, Lin Yumeng became the pillar of the family and supported the whole family. The hardships involved can be imagined. In short, during those difficult years, Lin Yumeng carried everything alone. Although Lin Yumeng usually spoke harshly to Peng Zhan, he knew it was because he was too naughty and often made mistakes. As an older sister, she had to be a little fierce to keep him in line. She was the typical type with a sharp tongue, but a soft heart. The 2 younger sisters, Lin Yutong and Lin Yuqin, knew their sister's hardships, were very sensible, studied hard, were grateful, and vowed to repay their sister in the future. 2 years ago, the second sister, Lin Yutong, was admitted to a prestigious university. But to reduce her sister's burden, she chose to retain her student status and join the army for 2 years before returning to continue her studies. Because there were many benefits to joining the army first, her tuition would be waived when she returned to continue her studies. Moreover, she could also receive a discharge payment when she retired. Therefore, Lin Yutong resolutely chose to join the army first. The requirements for female soldiers were very high, but Lin Yutong's physical fitness was very good. Not only did she pass the military physical examination, but she was also selected to be a special forces soldier. Before leaving, Lin Yutong knelt before her sister in public, saying that the eldest sister was like a mother. She would train hard, perform well, and strive to become an officer so that she could protect her sister in the future. Lin Yutong's actions moved Lin Yumeng to tears. Because the family was poor, and since she was 14, she had no parents to protect her, and the only man was a fool. Over the years, Lin Yuming had been bullied a lot and had received cold shoulders from neighbors. The third sister, Lin Yuqin, was currently in her third year of high school. Her grades had always been the first in the school. If nothing unexpected happened, she would definitely be admitted to a prestigious university. At this moment, Peng Zhan, who had returned to normal, remembered all the things about Lin Yuming. Unknowingly, his eyes were filled with tears, and his face was covered with tears. Such a kind and beautiful girl like Lin Yuming had just graduated from university. She was at the age of a flower, and her beautiful life had just begun. If she was unfortunately harmed, it would be a great injustice. If Lin Yuming was really harmed by Zhu Sangguang, he would definitely tear Zhu Sangguang to pieces. His heart was like a knife, and he ran wildly in the mountains like crazy, expanding the search area. Sister Yuming, where are you? Answer me. Sister Yuming, don't scare me, okay? Come back quickly. Sister Yuming, as long as you come back, I swear, I will be a sister-doting maniac in the future, protect you well, and never allow anyone to bully you, never. Peng Zhan cried and shouted while running wildly, tears flying. Just as Peng Zhan was becoming more and more desperate, Lin Yuming's pleasantly surprised voice suddenly came from afar. Fool, I'm here. Peng Zhan was instantly overjoyed, as if he had heard the most beautiful music, and immediately ran in the direction of the sound. Soon, Peng Zhan arrived at the source of the sound, but he did not see Lin Yuming. Sister Yuming, where are you? Why can't I see you? Peng Zhan asked anxiously. I'm above you. Are you a human or a ghost? Lin Yuming's somewhat frightened voice came from above Peng Zhan's head. Peng Zhan immediately looked up and saw Lin Yuming standing on a big tree. Sister Yuming, of course I'm human. You're so good to me. Even if I were a ghost, I wouldn't hurt you. Don't be afraid. Peng Zhan was thrilled to see that Lin Yuming was still alive. Didn't you fall into the demon-locking cave? How did you not die? Lin Yuxiang saw Peng Zhan fall into the demon-locking cave with her own eyes. Now, seeing Peng Zhan appear before her safe and sound, she was both surprised and somewhat disbelieving. My situation is complicated. I'll tell you about it later. Peng Zhan didn't know how to explain it to Lin Yuming at the moment. It's good that you didn't die. It's good that you didn't die. I thought I would never see you again. Seeing that Peng Zhan was still alive, the usually strong Lin Yuming was overcome with emotion and wept with joy. Just now, she and Peng Zhan had each experienced a life-and-death situation, and now they had both survived and were safe and sound. This made her lose control of her emotions and cry her heart out. Sister Yuming, how did you end up in the tree? Did that old bastard Zhu Sangguang do anything to you? Peng Zhan rarely saw Lin Yuming cry. Now, seeing Lin Yuming crying her heart out, an ominous premonition arose in his heart, and he couldn't wait to ask. No, no. At the critical moment, Zhu Sangguang was bitten by a king cobra, and I took the opportunity to escape. Lin Yuming was still shaken when she recalled the scene. It turned out that earlier, when Lin Yuming was dragged into the bushes by Zhu Sangguang, thinking she was doomed, a king cobra suddenly appeared and bit Zhu Sangguang's calf. Zhu Sangguang, seeing that he had been bitten by a king cobra, was scared out of his wits and quickly took measures to save himself. Lin Yuming managed to escape and ran wildly through the forest. Having narrowly escaped, she was extremely frightened, not only worried that the king cobra would chase after her and attack her, but also worried that Zhu Sangguang, still harboring evil intentions, would come after her again. So, she climbed up this big tree, hid in it, and didn't dare to move. And Zhu Sangguang, bitten by a king cobra, how could he dare to move around? He was a traveling doctor and had some basic knowledge of self-rescue. He immediately tied a vine around his bitten calf to prevent the venom from spreading and sucked out the venom with his mouth. However, the venom of the king cobra was too strong. He gradually felt his mind becoming unclear and was on the verge of fainting. He came out of the bushes, wanting to hurry down the mountain to seek medical treatment. As a result, as soon as he came out of the bushes, he ran into Peng Zhan, thought he saw a ghost, and fled down the mountain in terror. So that's it. No wonder when I saw Zhu Sangguang just now, his face was pale, he was extremely weak, and he looked like he was about to die. Peng Zhan was relieved to learn that Lin Yuming had not been violated by Zhu Sangguang. He had previously thought that Zhu Sangguang's weakness was due to having done something bad, but now he knew that Zhu Sangguang had been bitten by a venomous snake. At the same time, he also figured out that the mottled bloodstains he had seen in the bushes earlier were the venomous blood that Zhu Sangguang had sucked out himself, not the kind of blood he had imagined from Lin Yuming. He had overthought it and caused a false alarm. Now that he was no longer a fool, he could deduce how dangerous Lin Yuming's situation was at that time, even without being at the scene. If there hadn't been a king cobra in the bushes, the consequences would have been unimaginable. What? You saw Zhu Sangwang just now? Won't he come back after us? Lin Yuming asked in fear. No, he won't. When he saw me just now, he like you thought he saw a ghost. He was so scared that he ran down the mountain like crazy. If I'm not mistaken, he's probably going to die soon, Peng Zhan said. How do you know he'll die? Lin Yuming asked in surprise. Because the king cobra is one of the most dangerous snakes in the world, with a large amount of venom. A person will undoubtedly die within half an hour of being bitten if they do not receive timely medical treatment. Moreover, Zhu Cangguang had just run down the mountain, accelerating his blood circulation. Even a god couldn't save him. Lin Yumeng, seeing Peng Zhan, the fool, speaking so eloquently, stared at him in disbelief and asked in surprise, Fool, when did you become so knowledgeable? She didn't care whether Zhu Cangguang lived or died. Even if he did die, he deserved it. What she cared about was how Peng Zhan suddenly seemed to have changed, becoming smarter. Sister Yumeng, I'm not a fool anymore. I've recovered. Peng Zhan told her truthfully. I don't believe it. You've been a fool for so many years. I've taken you to see doctors many times, and they all said there was no cure. How could you suddenly not be a fool anymore? Don't try to make me happy. I don't believe you. Although Lin Yumeng felt that Peng Zhan's speech was clearer than before, she still didn't believe that he could suddenly recover. Sister Yumeng, come down first. It's too dangerous to stand on the tree. Seeing that Lin Yumeng didn't believe him, Peng Zhan didn't explain further. It's easy to climb up a tree, but hard to climb down. I can't get down, Lin Yumeng said, on the verge of tears. The tree she had climbed was very tall. Normally, she wouldn't have been able to climb it. She didn't even know how she had managed to climb it in the emergency just now. When people are in danger, they often exhibit surprising strength that they don't normally possess. Forget it, just jump down. I'll catch you. Peng Zhan now possessed the power of the master of Lingxiao Palace and was confident that he could catch Lin Yumeng. What? You want me to jump down? Do you want me to fall to my death? I'm not as foolish as you. Lin Yumeng had begun to believe that Peng Zhan was no longer a fool, but after hearing his words, she thought he was still abnormal. The place where she was standing was as high as 3 or 4 stories from the ground. If she jumped directly, she would be crippled if not killed. I said I would catch you. How could I let you fall to your death? Peng Zhan said innocently. How can you catch me from such a height? Stop bragging. Let me calm down and figure out how to get down myself. As Lin Yumeng was speaking, a sudden crack was heard, and the branch she was standing on suddenly broke. Ah! Lin Yumeng screamed in terror as she began to fall rapidly. Just when she thought she was doomed, she suddenly felt herself being held firmly by a pair of strong hands. She looked closely and saw that the person holding her was none other than Peng Zhan. She hadn't expected that her foolish younger brother could actually catch her. When Lin Yumeng suddenly fell from the tree, Peng Zhan, with quick eyes and hands, swiftly caught her. He held Lin Yumeng's back with one hand and her legs with the other, in a princess carry. At this moment, time seemed to stop. Lin Yumeng was still in shock, frozen like a statue, not moving, letting Peng Zhan hold her. And Peng Zhan, after recovering, was looking at Lin Yumeng from such a close distance for the first time. He saw that Lin Yumeng's face was fair with a rosy tint, with a pair of charming dimples. Under her long eyelashes, her clear, large eyes were like autumn water. Most importantly, her figure was also perfect, with a pair of long, slender legs that made it impossible to look away. Lin Yumeng was even more captivating than the mistress of the High Heaven Palace. The mistress of the High Heaven Palace possessed an otherworldly beauty, a beauty that seemed untouched by the mundane. Lin Yumeng, on the other hand, possessed a natural beauty, a beauty that was pure and untainted. To describe her as a beauty capable of toppling cities and kingdoms was no exaggeration. The only imperfection in Lin Yumeng's beauty at present was her weight. She was too thin, a result of long-term malnutrition. Sister Yumeng, are you all right? Peng Zhan asked with concern after a long while. I'm fine, put me down quickly. It was only then that Lin Yumeng recovered from her shock. Peng Zhan couldn't keep holding Lin Yumeng, so he gently put her down. How did you suddenly become so powerful? I fell from such a height. And you were able to catch me? Lin Yumeng asked curiously. It's a long story. Let's go down the mountain first. I have a strange feeling about this place. It's filled with a dangerous aura. We could talk while we go down the mountain. After receiving the mistress of the High Heaven Palace's inheritance, Peng Zhan had become particularly sensitive to dangerous auras. He could feel the presence of danger in this forest. Wait a minute. I really need to pee. I can't hold it anymore. Let me pee first before we go down the mountain, Lin Yumeng said, blushing. She had needed to pee earlier, but because Zhu Cangguang suddenly appeared, she couldn't, and she had been holding it in until now. When she fell from the tree, just now, She almost peed herself out of fear. Now she really couldn't hold it anymore. If nothing unexpected happens, something unexpected is about to happen, Peng Zhan said with an unfathomable expression. What do you mean? That's so cryptic. Can you explain it more clearly? Lin Yuming was completely confused. What I mean is if my prediction is correct, something unexpected will happen again during your pee break, Peng Zhan explained. Jinx, don't say that. I don't believe that something unexpected can happen while I'm just peeing. Lin Yuming refused to believe it. All right, go ahead then. I'll keep watch for you, Peng Zhan said. Same as always, don't peek. Lin Yuming was already desperate. After warning him, she hurried towards a bush. Peng Zhan wouldn't have peeked when he was a fool, and now that he was back to normal, he wouldn't peek even more so. Although he and Lin Yuming were not related by blood, she had raised him. 7 years of care, a debt as heavy as a mountain. 7 years of being together, depending on each other. Lin Yuming was like his real sister, and he would never disrespect her in any way. Peng Zhan turned his back to Lin Yuming's direction, on high alert, and activated his powerful sensing ability to prevent any danger from approaching. Soon, Peng Zhan heard the sound of hissing from the bushes, and at the same time, he heard a whooshing sound not far from Lin Yuming. Sister Yuming, are you done yet? Hurry up, there's danger. Peng Zhan felt the danger approaching and said anxiously. Before he could finish speaking, Lin Yuming ran out of the bushes in a panic. Fool run! Lin Yuming shouted in terror as she ran out. She was on the verge of tears this time. Peng Zhan, that Jinx was right. Why did danger always strike whenever she had to pee? Was she not allowed to pee? Hearing Lin Yuming shout, Peng Zhan was startled. He didn't expect the danger to come so quickly. He hurriedly turned around to see what was happening. He saw Lin Yuming pulling up her pants while running towards him at full speed. This scene blinded Peng Zhan's eyes.